You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Spirit 1340 WYCB. I enjoy telling you all it is the oldest gospel radio station in the country and is the first contemporary gospel outlet in the United States. Today is Good Friday, and I enjoyed the Seven Last Words worship service at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church on Rhode Island Avenue Northwest. I hope you enjoyed your services today as well, and if you didn't, well, there's still some time. They have 12 noon services, and they also have some that are being held in the evening. We're happy that you've joined us. We've got some exciting guests, as we always do. Tonight, we're helping my high school alum, Lynn Dyson, again, to promote his play in memory of Shirley Chisholm. This is the 50th anniversary of when she ran for president of the United States back in 1972. He's got a play coming up called Campaign 72. And our guests are going to be Odell Ruffin, and it's also going to be Miss Johnnie Rice. And so we want to say hi to both of them, and we're also going to say hi to Dr. Julianne Malvo after we say hi to Johnnie. Johnnie, you there?
Yes, ma'am. I sure am.
How are you, Johnnie? Johnnie worked for Shirley Chisholm, and we're going to talk about that on the second half of the show. Odell, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, nice talking to you, Odell. Odell is the writer and producer, and I also have on my line the CEO himself, Mr. Lynn Dyson. How are you today, Lynn?
I'm great, Lyndia. It's always my pleasure to be here with you.
All right. Well, we're going to go to Dr. Julianne Malvo this Good Friday. How are you today, Dr. Julianne?
I am wonderful, blessed, and highly favored. It is Good Friday in the middle of the end of our resurrection week. Resurrection always reminds us that it's called, you can always start over.
There you go. There you go. So talk to us about politics. Are you on the West Coast or the East Coast today?
I'm on the West Coast today, but I just want to say,
right.
Folks, I wish I could see this play. I love Shirley Chisholm. She was a personal connection. I've got funny stories to share about her, but I won't. But anyway, congratulations on the play.
And I had written to you to ask you to be on a panel, but I don't know if you ever saw the letter. But anyway, we'll talk about it.
Julianne,
right, go ahead.
Julianne, great to hear your voice. I miss you. Thank you so much. Miss you too.
Yeah, we did a whole lot of stuff with Shirley together.
You know, well, she started the National Political Congress of Black Women.
I know.
She and C. Dolores Tucker. I'll never forget the 1984 campaign. I'll never forget going off on a whole room full of you-know-who people.
I know, me too.
Who were pushing Geraldine Ferraro so hard they forgot about Shirley Chisholm.
Yep.
Anyway,
we got them, didn't we?
You know, I did. That might have been the time I climbed up on a chair and started cussing.
You know what? We did some good stuff, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did. And she was such a role model and such.
Yes.
It gives me shivers. Well, let me give you my little 5 minutes because y'all got plenty to say, and I just want to say a few things about what's going on. Let's start with the, you know what, Republican National Committee. Lyndia, I'm trying to cuss out. So when I say ignorant, you know what should be in there. The ignorant, you know what, National Committee resigned from the Presidential Debate Commission because they said they weren't Trump. This is crazy, and more crazy. Trump's about to go to jail. And they want to resign because of him? I mean, please, give me a break. But in any case, that's news that just happened today. We've had a really full week. Also, earlier today, the parents of Patrick Loyola gave a press conference. They were there with Ben Crump, who, you know, is now if you shoot a black person, call Ben Crump. because he's going to get you. But anyway, this young man was shot in the back of his head in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the back of his head. And he still seemed to be okay with that. The police officer is on paid leave. But why you go pay somebody for being a murderer? He's on paid leave. And the police commissioner refuses to release his name. I bet when they release it, they'll find that this is not the first person he shot or the first time he's acted like he didn't have any sense. But in any case, this is national and international news as people are demanding justice for Patrick Loyola. Now, in terms of, I don't know if this news is political or medical. So I'm just going to put it out. What's up with all this back and forth with the coronavirus? People don't trust the process anyway. A lot of people won't get vaxxed because they say the vaccines don't work. About 60% of all Americans are vaccinated, but the magic number is about 70 for us to get herd immunity. But people keep going back and forth. The Centers for Disease Control doesn't agree with the city of Philadelphia, doesn't agree with the airlines. And with all that confusion, what I find, certainly here in L.A., is people, on my campus, you cannot go inside without a mask on. But outside, in restaurants, I was at a museum last week, people don't care. People have had enough of it. They just do not care. So the question about coronavirus is it medical or is it political? A similar interrelated question has to do with Senator Dianne Feinstein. Is it ageism, sexism, or is she losing it? There was an long article, I believe in Politico. The San Francisco Chronicle has tried to interview her. She declined the interviews. They're saying that she is losing cognition. She doesn't recognize people, all of that. I don't know. This does have political implications because if she chooses to resign, which I don't think she will, I think she'll serve out her term to 2024. I doubt that she'll run for re-election. She's 88 years old. But I think she'll serve out her term. But if she doesn't, the governor gets to appoint. And the question will be, who will he appoint? He did not appoint a black woman when Kamala became vice president, even though he had pressure to do so. Instead, he appointed a Latino brother who's very good, but that ain't the point. There's not a black woman in the United States Senate. So the Feinstein question, as I approach 70, I ain't not running toward it. It'll be there, though, in a couple of years. And, Lyndia, we know we're all of a certain age. Ageism, cognition, and sexism is something we have to talk about from a political standpoint. Because, you've never heard them say any of these doddering old white men. Now, I would have thought that someone would have said that Lindsey Graham had lost his cognition, even though he's only 60-something.
The stuff he says, yes.
So let me close out by talking a bit about inflation. We know this week we got the numbers. The same $100 you took to the store on March 1st of 2021, you would have to take $108.50 on March 1st of 2022. Inflation is up by 8%, but it's not even. Gasoline prices are up by 45%. So, if you bought gas for $3 a gallon a year ago, paying $4.50. And in some place here in L.A., we're looking at $7, $7.50, $8. Food prices. Cost of eggs is up by 15%. The little children will have fewer Easter eggs. We can just go down. But the fact is that inflation is here. There's not a lot that we can do about it. President Biden has attempted to do a couple of things by releasing some of the gas reserves. But the fact is that we will be living with inflation for a while. And so, folks, watch your pennies, manage your pennies, manage your dollars, and be clear. This is not Joe Biden's fault, nor is it Putin's fault. It's a supply chain issue that basically is going to be with us for a while. So that's me for today, Lyndia.
All right. Well, thank you. I enjoyed how you ended today. Dr. Julianne Malvo is an economist. That's what she's got her PhD in. Although I love to hear her talk politics. That's why I convinced her to come on every week with me. So thank you for being our guest today, Dr. Julianne. And happy Easter weekend. Happy Easter weekend.
Happy Easter to you and your guests, and congratulations on the play.
All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to get ready to go to a commercial break. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. This is Holy Week. We are having Good Friday services today all over the country. And so I want to just say a happy Good Friday to everybody. This is a good topic that we're going to talk about when we come back from our commercial break. We're going to be talking about the upcoming play hosted by Multimedia called Campaign 72, 50 years after Shirley Chisholm ran for president. And now we're going to do a play called, it's going to be a panel called From 50 Years from Chisholm to Kamala. So we'll be back in a moment after our commercial break. Stay tuned.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, you know we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a segregated Montgomery bus. In lectures on brotherhood, Ms. Parks often said, "People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired. But that wasn't true. I was not tired physically. I was not old. I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in." Driven out of Montgomery by harassment and death threats, Detroit, Michigan became her new home. Rosa Parks will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Raised in the AME church, she once said, "I remember finding such comfort and peace while reading the Bible."
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at washingtoninformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
This is Frank Smith with the African American Civil War Museum in Washington, D.C., located at 1925 Vermont Avenue Northwest on the Green Line. Did you know that a recent study found that children who visit museums do better in school and in life than children who do not? So parents, teachers, and preachers, let's get moving. I promise you, if you bring your children to the African American Civil War Museum, they will be inspired by the images that they see. They will be impressed by our living history reenactors who are always available, and they will be involved in our scavenger hunt that takes them throughout our exhibit. That's the African American Civil War Museum, 1925 Vermont Avenue. Our hours are 10 to 6:30 on weekdays, 12 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. See it, be inspired.
And we are back. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB Radio 1. Now we're going to talk about Campaign 72, an exciting play that we hope you will purchase a ticket and come out, bring a group. But we're going to talk to the writer and producer, Odell Ruffin. He's the writer and director, and he has starred in several theatrical productions. He's been called an urban filmmaker favorite, and is one of the most charismatic voices of his generation. He's the recipient of a 2002 Eastern Michigan NAACP Alvin Ailey Performing Arts Image Award, and was recognized as one of the DMV Top 30 Under 30 in 2009. Mentioned in the New York Times article Hamlet of Hip Hop for his role of Tupac in 2010. As the artistic director of the company Ruffin Entertainment Productions, the mission providing awareness through art They develop theater, film, and media projects that are consistent with the goal of education through entertainment. Recent projects involve the Tupac Tale stage play, The Meeting by a stage play by Jeff Stetson in 2013. He was the writer and director. Campaign 72, which is a play we're talking about today, one-person stage play. The Prospect short film, Hello Short Film, and Love and Consequences, the web series, official selection, Miami Web, Festival Best, romantic comedy. He's done all types of things. And so we're excited. He's got his next production is going to be the Afro Blues 2019/2020. I want to say hi to Mr. Ruffin before I introduce Johnnie. How are you today, Mr. Ruffin?
I'm doing really good today. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad to have you on today. Looking forward to talking to you more. Johnnie Rice, I'd like to tell everybody that she worked for Shirley Chisholm. You probably heard her and Dr. Julian now were talking about back in the day when they were both working with Shirley Chisholm and standing in chairs and turning over the place. Johnnie Rice is a 46-year Ward 7 resident. She has demonstrated a firm commitment to public service. She is the co-founding member of the National Congress of Black Women. She tirelessly served on Shirley Chisholm's political campaign as she ran to become the first African-American female running for the office of President of the United States. Her considerable efforts have been recognized repeatedly. Johnnie, I cut out a lot of stuff because we got to have time to talk today. Your resume is so long. And Lynn Allum, how are you today, Johnnie, before I introduce Lynn?
I'm great.
Good to have you. Lynn, all I'm going to say about you is that he founded Multimedia Training Institute based on the format of the D.C. Black Repertory Company. Instead of training in the theater, he was training in the media arts and digital productions. So I introduced him 2 weeks ago. I just wanted you all to know that he's there. But first, I'm going to go to David Ruffin to tell us, how did you get this idea? And tell us a little bit about what's going to happen coming up on the 21st for the first play.
Oh, well, it's Odell. You said David Ruffin, but...
you know what? That was my inner spirit talking. I didn't mean to say David Ruffin. I'm so sorry. You know I love David Ruffin. It just happened. I'm so sorry. You know David Ruffin is not even with us. Lord have mercy. Please forgive me.
Yeah. All is forgiven. I'm really excited about the production coming up. The origin started in 2016 when I wrote it. And I was just inspired because I remember going to school hearing the name Shirley Chisholm, but not getting too much feedback for what the story was about. And as I got older, I came upon a documentary called Unbossed. And then that opened up my eyes even more to how great this woman was for taking on that challenge. Even in 1972, I was like, wow, I didn't know any of this. And then it took me back to a train of thought and thinking about how I could actually produce or write and bring the story to light. And I thought it would be a great way to do that by having it on stage performed so that the generation that's coming up and my generation can actually learn a little bit more about what this woman actually meant politically, because it's like a quiet throw from a lot of political figures that everybody knows who Shirley Chisholm is, but I can only speak from my generation. We didn't really know too much about her until I started getting involved with this play. And so the goal is to make sure that the youth get involved in what she actually meant politically. And that's what it's about.
Well, it is so exciting. I'm glad to be working with you all. This is really a great story to tell. I wrote about it in my Informer column. You all can pick up the Washington Informer from last week to read some details about it. But I too am a Shirley Chisholm fan. Before I even connected with any of these people, she just was somebody I admired and followed and read her book and saw the video on Prime TV as well. Johnnie, You've worked for Shirley Chisholm. Talk to us a little bit. This is Johnnie Rice. You are a native Washingtonian. Talk to us.
She was the most interesting and fun person that I've ever worked for. And she took no prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
She was the type of person that she got right to the point. She didn't beat around the bush. If she wanted you to go, I mean, when I went up to New York to work in her campaign, I was going to do it for a weekend. Me and Barbara Simmons drove up there. We ended up staying a whole week in a hotel that we hadn't planned to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because she took us to the streets. Shirley talked to the junkies on the corner, the drunks on the corner, the homeless, the Latinos, the blacks, the whites, the Puerto Ricans, because you know New York is full of everything.
You're right.
And Shirley would stop and talk to those people. Shirley registered those. She had us up there registering these people to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley was determined that she was going to win this race. And she was up against James Farmer, who was the director of CORE. And she started out in that group, that Democratic group, at the bottom. Most people don't know that Shirley was elected a state assemblywoman prior to running. People think she just got out there and ran for Congress. No, she was elected a state assemblywoman in New York. She taught in an all-girl private school. That was her job before she even got into politics. And people don't know that about her. But that's her history, teaching. She taught me a whole lot of stuff. And she said you can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid to ask people to support you. You cannot be afraid to tell people what's going on that's hurting them. And the black community was hurt because there was no Shirley Chisholm out there.
That's right. Well, Johnnie, thank you. Let's talk to Lynn, because we only got a few minutes. Our time is almost up. We only got 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Lynn, why don't you give us your closing comments today to invite everybody out?
Yes, the show opens April the 21st, and it runs to April 30th, and then we come back again on the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Well, there's a special show on April 30th that you are putting together, Miss Lyndia. Can you tell people about that? We have Mayor Rockamore Cummings and have city council people, and there's going to be the play is going to be at 2:00 on the 30th of April, even though we open April 21st. But there's going to be a talk back panel after that. Can you give us the guess about that, Lyndia?
Yes, I sure can. I'm excited that we're going to have Maya Rockymore Cummings is going to be the panel moderator. And then we just got confirmation today that Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton is going to be on the panel. We have we have 2 D.C. council members, and because we're running short on time, I'm just going to say one is Captain Henderson at large and the Ward 4 council member. I'm not looking at the flyer, but that's Denise George. And then we also have my friend, Chief Judge, recently retired, Wanda Hurd, who also worked for Shirley Chisholm. And so we're excited that this panel is going to take place after the play. So go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, so people can go to Eventbrite Campaign 72, and you can come and see the show in person, or you can go online digitally and see the show also after the second week. Because I know a lot of people want to see that panel discussion on the 30th, and you can go to Campaign 72 Eventbrite and get your tickets there.
All right. Well, that does it for our show. We're out of time. I just got to do my close. Subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to the Lyndia Grant Show. Pick up the Washington Informer newspaper and read my column every week. We are always excited to have you all on as my guests. We didn't have a lot of time today. I'm so sorry. Next week, we're going to have Attorney Shalore Williams. She's going to come on and talk about how her law firm is growing. Words, thoughts, and deeds have a boomerang effect. So be careful what you send out. Scripture says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. In memory of my mom who died Christmas Day 2000, her birthday just passed on April the 1st, I want to say to all type 2 diabetics, Make a lifestyle change by changing your diet forever. Eat less carbohydrates and cut out the sweets, and exercise at least 5 days a week. Philippians 4:6 says, think on these things, which is the title of my show. From the Lyndia Grant Show, I'm your host, Lyndia Grant. Until next week, good day.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.